Hello everybody, it's my privilege to introduce to you, all the way from the south side of Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my Theo, your brother, the Southside Unicorn.
Hey, everybody, it's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and yes, it is Hump Day, but it is also Halloween Eve. It is also a very scary time in America. It's also a very scary time in California. We have fires everywhere, have officers falling. It's a pretty scary time, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we have a special edition of Hump Day. Just going to be dealing with Halloween type of things and all of that, but let's just go in it this way. For those of you who want to help our fellow Californians who are suffering through all of these incredible fires, you might want to consider donating to the California Wildfires by American Red Cross. The California Wildfires by American Red Cross. You know, I always ask myself, how many other states have high winds, electricity, built up buildings, brushes, and trees, but no fires? We got to really check ourselves here in California and ask the big question, what are we doing? Prayers going out for everybody who has lost property and those who have lost their lives. This is, it's just really bad. And it looks like there's a fire burning close to the Reagan Library, so let's put out a deep prayer for that. We cannot lose that library. That would just be unthinkable. We're going to pay respects to Brian ISHAEL. Brian ISHAEL was a police officer in El Dorado County, and he responded to a call where he was shot in the chest and the foot, and he succumbed to his wounds and died. The call was over a theft of marijuana, and when he responded, he came across two illegal aliens who fired upon him and took his life. Remembering Officer Brian ISHAEL, end of watch. Now that's pretty scary when you think about it. This officer responded to a call, and two illegal aliens, undocumented citizens, whatever you want to call them, dreamers, what have you, stole this officer and his family's dreams right from underneath him. That's pretty scary. We also lost one of Hollywood's famous people, John WITHERSPOON, an actor, comedian for decades, who made audiences laugh in television shows and films, including the hit Friday franchise, died suddenly at his home. He was 77 years old. His family says, "It is with the deepest sorrow that we confirm our beloved husband and father, John WITHERSPOON, one of the hardest working men in show business, died today at his home in Sherman Oaks at age 77. Quote, Witherspoon's family said in a statement to Deadline, he survived by his wife Angela and his son JD, Alexander, and a large family. We are all in shock. Please give us a minute for a moment in privacy, and we will celebrate his life and his work together. John used to say, I'm no big deal, but he was a huge deal to us." Comedy great Witherspoon was born in Detroit in 1942 as John Weather Spoon, Weatherspoon. He launched a stand-up comedy career and began acting in the late 1970s with guest starring roles on TV, making his feature debut in 1980, The Jazz Singer, changing his name to Wither Spoon, Witherspoon. Appeared in numerous films including Hollywood Shuffle, Boomerang, Vampire in Brooklyn, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, Bird, and The Meteor Man. Witherspoon was perhaps best known for his role as Ice Cube's grumpy dad in Friday. He also appeared in the sequels Next Friday, Friday After Next, and was expected to reprise his role in the long gestating final installment of the franchise titled Last Friday. well, respectfully, he did have his last Friday. I wonder if they're going to do a CG or some type of, computer put-in for him. He was a great star. Witherspoon also voiced Gramps on the cult animated series The Boondocks. Now, I'm actually going over this as I'm reading this with you all, and I did not know that. I loved him as the grandfather in Boondocks. He likely would have returned for the series' upcoming revival on HBO Max, also known for his role as Pops on the Wyan Brothers. Witherspoon did stints on such comedy series as The Tracy Morgan Show, The First Family, and Black Jesus. Black Jesus is an interesting show. You might want to check it out if you get a chance. Even with his busy film and TV career, stand-up comedy remained an important part of Witherspoon's life. At age 77, he continued to perform regularly and had several dates coming up at the time of his death. Wow, that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to stay vibrant and hustling all the way through, and he did. Remembering John Witherspoon.
Greg, have you seen my shoe? What's that for? Protection. Protection? Protection from who? Yeah, Smokey. I got to walk Smokey down to his house. Oh, man. Your mother and I never would have moved in this neighborhood if we had known you need a gun to walk down the damn street. You know it is around here. Oh, no, son, that's not the way it is. You kids today are nothing but punks. Sissified. So quick to pick up a gun. You're scared to take an ass whipping. This what makes you a man. When I was growing up, this was all the protection we needed. You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. And you think you're a man with that gun in your hand, don't you? I'm a man without it. Put the gun down. Come on, put up your dukes. Now you're a man. Your uncle picked up a gun, too. He had to find out the hard way. 22 years old. You got a choice. These are all you need. All right?
That was John Witherspoon in a scene from Fridays. Now, what I want to do is try to run down, the top 25 favorite Halloween movies for you. But before I do that, I want to say something. And I'm speaking to you from my 30 plus years in law enforcement and security. Do not have a Halloween party at your home. Not one that's open to the public at large. If you know every single person that's coming, if you lock your doors and ensure that no uninvited personnel can make it into your home, then okay, fine, maybe. The best thing to do is just get to a local church and enjoy their, G-rated, Halloween celebrations. That would be my suggestion to you. But do not have a Halloween party at your home. Can't tell you how many people have called or reached out. Can we get some protection? We need it from the 30th to the 1st. No true professional in the industry in his right mind is going to cover your home for a Halloween party. They don't end well. So that's my public service announcement to the public at large. Do not have Halloween parties at your home. In the end, it's not worth it. And it may be one of the scariest ordeals you'll ever deal with. Now, favorite Halloween movies. The top 25, if I can get them out. 25, Ghostbusters reboot, which I'm amazed it even hit the top 25. There are some movies you should just leave alone, and I'm sure you guys agree with me on that. 24, The Blair Witch Project. You would think it would have, shown a little bit higher. The Blair Witch Project is truly scary. 23, Goosebumps, starring Jack Black. 22, Paranorman. It's way too dark. It was made in 2012, and I mean, it was CG cartoon style, but it was too much. 21, Sleepy Hollow, Heads Will Roll. That was pretty cool. Academy Award winning for Best Direction. Had 2 Oscar nominations. Number 20, The Exorcist, 1983. Come on, guys. The Exorcist is number 20. It could have placed a whole lot better, too. Especially above number 19, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Then you got number 18, Idle Hands, in 1999. Kills his entire family and his friends, and that's really something you want to get into? Okay, fine. Number 17, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Another one that you would think would be higher. Gary Oldman did an excellent job in that movie, made in 1992. Number 16, Scream in 1996. It was an homage to a Halloween-type movie that was made in 1978. Number 15, Halloween Town, Disney's contribution to Halloween movies. And here comes a good one, an oldie but goodie. Number 14, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. You can watch that, and it doesn't have to be Halloween. Talk about a cult classic. If you don't know how to do the time warp, you should check it out and learn how to do the time warp again. Number 13, Young Frankenstein. Number 12, The Addams Family. Yeah, they're creepy and they're kooky. Number 11, Casper, 1995. Again, that was one of those CG type of movies. And last but not least, the top 10. Number 10, the original Ghostbusters, made in 1984 with 2 Oscar nominations. Number 9, Beetlejuice. Number 8, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and that was made back in the 1960s, and it's still going strong. That's pretty good. Number 7, Trick or Treat, cult classic, pretty bloody. Number 6, Nightmare on Elm Street, made in 1984. Number 5, It, the 2017 version. Can't hang, guys. It is just way too scary for me. I mean, you don't mess with kids, and this movie has no problem messing with kids. Not cool. Number 4, The Shining. No, I got that wrong. The Shining, 1980. Talk about the movie. That's the movie. Number 3, The Nightmare Before Christmas in 1993. Weird movie. Weird people like that movie. It's a weird movie. Weird people like it. Number 2, Halloween, The Night He Came Home with Jamie Lee Curtis. And number 1, Hocus Pocus, 1993. Can you believe it? Now, I'm going to have my top 5 when we get back from this station break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Go nowhere.
My name is Toot Sweet, and I'm New York City's original artist, singing for the cause of freedom. I've spent the last 10 years of my life documenting history through my music. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting adversity and learn more lessons in life than you're learning any. And when I'm in need of a dose of reality to escape the little land of make-believe, I tune in to the Southside Unicorn, where the truth is as solid as New York City concrete. My name is Toot Sweet, and you're listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn, and this party's just getting started.
Hey, it's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and it is Hump Day, and we are back for the second segment. Yeah, check it out. When we last saw each other, and I do apologize for the missing of Saturday and Sunday show, but we lost our equipment. And that's why we need donations from you all if you can help. I mean, at this point, I'm like, if you got a pretty solid HP computer, just mail it to us, you know. But we had an equipment malfunction of a catastrophic level, so the Saturday and Sunday show did not get out. But did indeed manage to, see that, what is this woman, Katie Hill? She says she's going to quit, says she's going to resign. We will see. Normally, Democrats don't do that. I kind of said she would, and then she's going to try to go after people for, what is that thing called porn shaming? Maybe she's got a case, maybe she doesn't. But that's another lesson for everybody out there. Don't be putting your junk out there. pictures last forever. If you should lose control over that picture and or give consent to that, for the use of that picture to other people, I think this shaming law has some slippery ground when you really get down to it. But that's just one more Democrat that could possibly be gone. One more with a Nazi cross on him. One more that's a hypocrite and a liar. So, am I sad? No. She said it's with great regret that she's leaving. Well, not for us. Speak for yourself. So there she goes, Katie Hill, straight going downhill, because that was the episode called, it's all downhill. Look for that episode on the track and see what we were saying about her, and it's ultimately coming to fruition. That's pretty good news for us. Now, in the realm of this governor of ours, Governor, what do you call him? Gavin Nuisance, Plastic Man, whatever. The man is pardoning illegal aliens just so they can escape the grip of ICE. And we're losing peace officers to illegal aliens. Talk about scary stuff. You are a peace officer in the state of California, working for a governor who's working against you. Working against you so hard, they just realized that in Los Angeles County, didn't say Los Angeles, like California totally, just the county of Los Angeles. $1.3 billion has been spent on illegal aliens in welfare. $1.3 billion. You got, what's his name, Michael Zuckerberg. He's sitting there talking about he's going to spend $1 billion to make 20,000 homes or 20,000 habitats in Northern California. But wait. He's only going to make it available to first responders, people who work for him, nurses, doctors, teachers, people who could really afford their own way through life. That's where his money is going to go. Never once did he mention anything about the homeless Americans or veterans. And yet $1.3 billion was just spent in Los Angeles County. That could have been 20,000 homes for 20,000 veterans, 20,000 working poor Americans. This is some scary stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You're out here trying to make it, scrambling, trying to get it going on, and you're not even a whole paycheck away from disaster. And people lining up to vote for people like Gavin Newsom. That's scary. We got all kind of stuff, that we can talk about, but we're going to go ahead and, pick some stuff. Like, for example, over the weekend, President Donald J. Trump and our elite special forces took out, and I'm not even going to try to say the dude's name because, Al Sharpton embarrasses himself every day when he tries to do it. So, I just call the dude Big Daddy Dead, So, Big Daddy, Al Big Daddy, they bust the cap in his butt. Now, the man, and I remember this during the era of Obama, the reign of Obama. It was the most dystopic, disgusting, spirit-breaking time I had ever experienced in America. But if I had not seen it in the spirit realm before he even got elected, it would have shocked me even more. But I saw it. I exclaimed to all my loved ones and friends who were in the same room with me when he did the Democratic National Convention speech, and I stood up and I said, oh my God, if that man becomes president of the United States of America, we're going to suffer on levels you ain't never seen. And it all came true. I mean, this dude, Big Daddy, he had gotten so sick with it. His dudes was wearing designer execution suits. Don't y'all remember that? All the victims draped out in orange. It was so custom made. It was so custom made that we almost began to doubt that it was real. All of us started thinking, maybe this is a play. Maybe this is a setup. Those guys ain't really dead. Because they all laid out on the beautiful beach, in the orange jumpsuits. And his executioners are all dressed in black with matching tan leather, leather gear for their weapons and mask on. This is Al Big Daddy. Al Big Daddy raping young ladies. Al Big Daddy beheading journalists in slow motion so that we can satiate on the horrific cries of agony and pain that they put this man through as they were murdering him. This is Big Daddy. So the fact that our president basically trounced this fool. I mean, he said he was crying like a little biatch. You know, hey, it's cool with me. Now, if you go on my Facebook page, what you're going to see is I did call the president out. And boy, did that show me some scary stuff. Some of y'all are very scary. You say you Trump supporters. That's fine, because so am I. I've been down for President Donald J. Trump since day one. I've been down with him so hard I lost my business and everything supporting this man. So don't you tell me that I'm not MAGA, that I'm not KAG. I am. But I'm also not somebody who's going to follow somebody blindly. And I'm not a kiss arse. Neither one of those shall I be. So when I spoke my mind on Facebook on Sunday after he made his report to us about what had happened with Big Daddy, man, people who claim to be Trump supporters, Republicans, conservatives, and Christians, they were having at me. Man, you nitpicking. Man, you being petty. Oh, I'm done. Bye. I'm off your page. Forget you. All because I said, don't disrespect the military service dog. Our president kind of misspoke on Sunday. He went a little too far and simply said, no Americans were hurt. No American blood was spilled. Just a dog. That struck me wrong. I'm a United States Air Force law enforcement specialist. Some of my best friends were K-9 officers in the Air Force. I'm also a civilian peace officer, state of California, sworn 3 times. So I knew K-9 officers as a California peace officer too, and some equestrian officers. And the relationship they have with their partner is deep. At the time the president spoke that, I did not know if the dog had made it, if Big Daddy took the dog with him. And I simply said, hey guys, hey, that dog deserved more respect than to just be a kindred to Big Daddy, as he's calling Big Daddy. You know, he said Big Daddy died like a dog. And I thought the dog had died too. So, I'm like, come on, we got to walk that back. And, ultimately on Monday morning, to my relief, to my vindication, the president mentioned the dog's name and gave him honorable mention. The dog's name is Conan. He's doing just fine. He survived his injuries. He survived so well, he's actually back on what? Duty. He's back on duty again. Now to all of you Trumpers, fellow Trumpers, you need to watch yourself, because that's exactly why we can't win anybody else over. I'm not a sycophant, and you better not be either. President Trump is president for 8 years, and that's it. Now, is he doing us good? Oh, you better bet. Do I like this president? Oh, you better bet. But the way you guys tried to come at me on Sunday because I spoke out of lockstep with our president, you're the guys that are making the Republican Party look bad. You all. Because you cannot be that lockstep with anybody. Under those conditions, you may as well be practicing the goose step. You may as well be getting ready to say, how Trump, how Trump. And I ain't going down that road with nobody. What I spoke was right. The dog deserved his better honor. And he got it on Monday. Obviously, because more than just me came at him about it. Now, granted, Jamie Lee Curtis tried to come at him, but she came at him kind of wrong. She was conflating Big Daddy and the dog. So she tried to take the tweet out, but that's okay, because I got it. I caught it because I was like, look, it's a bad day when I have to almost agree with such a uber leftist like Jamie Lee Curtis. But she had it right. The dog deserved better honor, and he got it. So I'm pretty much cool with it. But I'll say it again. That was pretty damn scary watching you guys do what you did. I said something out of lockstep about the president, and you guys, like, your eyes went from regular normal eyes to like red dots, and you was like, he's speaking against Trump. He's speaking against Trump. Dump him. He is a never Trumper. He is a rhino. No, I'm not. And don't you make life so scary. that all you can do is just ride behind somebody 100%. Don't ever do that with anybody but the Lord Jesus Christ. If it's a man on this earth, you better watch yourself. So if nothing else, it kind of lit something up for me, because I ain't gonna never be that toe down for nobody, ever. And the irony of it is, if we go to civil war because the Democrat Party can't get their act together about all this impeachment and breaking the rules and being all strange, it may require my life to defend the Constitution, to defend our way of life, to defend our President of the United States. But at the same time, don't ever say that if somebody comes out against him in some kind of way, oh, you're nitpicking, oh, get rid of this person. You better examine what it is they're saying. And if it holds up to right, then you need to enjoin them with it. That's the slippery slope, ladies and gentlemen. That's the scariest thing in the world, is to see people be willing to follow somebody blindly. Thank God even the president had enough sense to redress himself and give the dog his better due. But I was just trying to point out how scary that got. That was pretty scary what you guys were doing. I mean, I had people coming at me from all kind of ways. Oh, I'm out of here. I'm off your page. Oh, you're picking on the president. I can't. Oh, you got to be bigger than that. That's such small potatoes. The honor of a military service member is never small potatoes. And don't beat me up, or they did, about, oh, it's just a dog. It's a beast of burden and all this kind of stuff. Excuse me? And don't try to tell me, well, we've been having dogs since Vietnam. Well, let me tell you something, partner. Dogs have been used in war since the Roman Empire times. Caesar had 2 of them. Alexander the Great had 6. So don't try to school me on what the relationship is between man and beast. This is the thing that got scary. These are the things we need to check ourselves on. Let's get ourselves back together. Let's walk in the same direction, the support of President Donald J. Trump, but not at all cost. That's when things get scary. And I ain't about that, and neither should you be. So he's going to misspeak from time to time. Some of it you got to let slide, but you can't let that slide. That was military. That was fresh off of a beautiful, flawless victory. And that's why I said what I said. You want to check it out? Go over there on my Twitter page, at Ken White 4444. It'll lead you to all the other pages. You can actually join my Facebook page and get in on the conversations too. And that's where you'll find that situation. Oops, time for another station break, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hi, Joy Villa here, reminding you to tune in to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend Ken White.
Hey, Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show on Hump Day. Title of the show is, now that's really scary. Hey, we were talking about the president and Big Dead Daddy, and all that stuff. And, the overall energy of our country, the overall energy of how we're treating each other and how we're such a divided nation, that is some scary stuff. You know what's even scarier than that? Our president, fresh off of a victory, goes to attend a World Series game, and the majority of the people in there booed him. That's right. They booed the President of the United States on the heels of a victory, military victory, coming to enjoy the World Series. Now, again, this could shock me. I could be shocked by that, but I'm not. Because, you see, I made a show called Legislating from the NFL. I should have made it Legislating from basically, you know, American sports, because that's what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Go back and listen to that show and you'll see what I'm talking about. We got two different realms, two different worlds going on here now. Those of you who know full well what's going on with Nike, what's going on with the NBA, what's going on with the NFL. Jay-Z is now basically the de facto commissioner of the NFL, and y'all still cool with that, while he's got all these strange connections to all these Middle Eastern relationships and all this and that. And you people are still lining up and buying your beer and sitting down with your hot dogs and supporting this stuff. Well, I guess we're making our choice. You either belong to the Holy Church of Christ, or you belong to the Holy Church of sports and the athletes. Each one of them is like your own little saint and whatnot. You know, LeBron James is a saint. James Harden is a saint. You know, Colin Kaepernick is a saint. You guys donate your money to the particular saint that you worship. That's pretty scary. We got real problems going on in our country, and you're empowering and giving your money to the very people who are harming our nation. I don't understand it. It really is a no-brainer to me. These people take your money, they put it in their pockets, and then they support everything that doesn't support your way of life. What's wrong with you? Talk about scary. You ain't got to put on no Jason mask. You just got to put on a jersey. For me, that's very scary. You ain't got to look like, you know, Hannibal Lecter or Freddy Krueger. Later for them guys. Put on a Rockets jersey and you scaring the hell out of me. That's very scary. And yet, there you guys are. Yay, my favorite team. I need some relaxation, man. I work too freaking hard, dude. It's my money, it's my business. You're taking it too serious, man. Really? You got people on all sides of us bleeding this country out of its money, from left, from right. President Donald J. Trump is trying to put the bite on China. And you guys are empowering China, complaining about him and the tariffs, saying, my gym shoes cost too much, man. You and them tariffs, you're making my iPhone cost more. Don't you get it? Don't you see it? Don't you care? So yeah, we're kind of, you know, coming down to the wire on a lot of stuff. It's just like with this impeachment stuff. That is very scary. Hey, look, which one of you want to have Adam Schiff judging your case? Which one of you would like to be sitting in a court of law? Now peep this out. You done been accused of something, and you sitting in the courtroom, got your suit on, got your dress on, whatever you choose to wear, and Adam Schiff is the judge. Nancy Pelosi is the prosecution. And they all get up and take all the witnesses and the jury outside of the courtroom behind closed doors. And there you and your lawyer sit in the courtroom by yourself, twiddling your thumbs. 10 o'clock rolls by. 11 o'clock rolls by. They all come out and say, well, time for a lunch break. We'll be back at 1 o'clock. We will convene court again at 1 o'clock. You sitting there going, man, what's the deal? And witnesses coming out, and they shaking their head and giving you the stank eye. Nancy Pelosi comes out as the prosecutor. She's got a smirk on her face as she coldly stares over at you. And Schiff is sitting there going, well, it's not looking good for you, partner. And if you say anything at all, we're going to say that that's an admission of guilt. Yeah, that's the court you'd find yourself in. That'd be pretty scary now, wouldn't it? I bet. But you all are fine as wine with the office. Not Donald J. Trump. Set him aside for a minute. The office of President of the United States of America has been dealt with over the last 3 years in a way that if it was 156 years ago, we'd already be at war. Oh, we would. I'm not talking violence. I'm talking facts. if a president in that day and age had been treated by either party, I don't care if it was the Republican Party, with the injustices that are being laid upon that office right now, just for spite's sake, we'd be at war. You should be scared. Because the bottom line is, nothing says that it still ain't going to happen. Why? Because you boo the president going into the World Series. Because the media tries to portray Big Daddy as some nice guy. Don't you remember all the different, and you got to remember, my man Zuckerberg was part and parcel just as guilty, because he had no damn problem letting those horrific videos show up every morning on Facebook. You could just type it in, and you'd see stuff on Facebook so horrible, so horrific, so gory. There is no horror movie you could go see in your local theater that would match what Zuckerberg allowed to play out on Facebook while Barack Obama was president. This is why our country is in trouble. Because we have a president who's trying to do something, who's trying to fix this mess. And the best he can get out of y'all, everything he does good, you besmirch it. He's trying to unravel a crime, and the very criminals that he's pursuing bring us fools like this Lieutenant Colonel Alexander S. Vindman. This guy is crazy. Look at his picture. They always say, I don't want to besmirch his military service. You know what? Thank you for your service. But there comes a time, and Abraham Lincoln understood this probably better than Trump does, right? President Trump does now, but President Trump is going to come to understand it too. Just because a man is in a military uniform don't mean you looking at a warrior. I said it, that's right. You know, everybody should be respected for their military service, of course. But when it comes, especially, I mean, in the enlisted ranks, yeah, because we're always on the front line, no matter how you shake that down. But sometimes when you get into the upper echelons of officers, man, some of these cats are nothing but politicians them damn selves. This man has just accused the president of omissions. Now, I got the unclassified, declassified by the order of the president on September 24, 2019, the memorandum of telephone conversations, the 5 pages, got it right here. And I've read it so many times, I could almost cite it verse by verse. And now here comes this whistleblower. A man who was on George Soros's payroll. A man who supports Hillary Clinton. A man that is a never Trumper. And he has the mendacity to say, well, there are things missing from that transcript, just enough to prolong it and muddy it up and dirty it up again. He's like a reverse version of Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. He damn sure ain't no Oliver North, because Oliver North was at least a patriot. This man couldn't even begin to call himself a patriot because he's supporting the wrong team. But he done went up in there and he lied. Now they claim, well, we're going to go ahead and have a vote on whether we should have a vote to go ahead and make this thing an official process. Look, thank God President Donald J. Trump is protected by who? God. So they can spray that little water hose all they want. They can stick him inside a freezer of discontent. They can do all this nasty, corrupt, illegal stuff. And when they open up the refrigerator, he gonna shake off the ice flakes and be like, now, let's resume the investigation on who started the Pfizer warrant. Was it Strzok and his lover? He gonna come out with the same message. You guys are going down. But it's going to require the American people to get their heads together about what we're doing with this man. Either we're going to step back and let them just take him, and then deal with the world that they want to give us. Do you understand how scary the world of a Hillary Clinton and an Obama and all those people would be? You think it would be easy. You think somewhere in there you would just be able to go watch your little basketball game, drink your beer and eat your hot dog, go to work and maybe go to a club and life will be good. All of that is a lie you're telling yourself. Do you understand where Marxism, fascism, and socialism goes? The isms gonna get you. The isms gonna get you. They're scarier than the boogeyman, baby. Jason ain't got nothing on socialism, because just like you try to kill Jason, you stab him up, you shoot him, poo poo poo, bust caps on him, do whatever you want to do to Jason, and the next thing you know, you look up and Jason is back again. That's the same thing with socialism. 1943, 17 whatever, when the Pilgrims came, they tried socialism. Didn't work. Didn't work when the Nazis tried it. Didn't work when Venezuela tried it. But just like Jason showing up in front of your house, and when you're looking out your bedroom window, there's socialism again. Now Bernie Sanders is trying to pump it. Oh, there's some stuff to be scared about. Trust me, it is. What is there to be scared about? There are people who are duplicit in the attempted overthrow of the United States government, still collecting a paycheck from the United States government. That is some scary stuff. So you ain't got to go looking at no horror movies. You ain't got to go trying to get to a scary house at Knott's Berry Farm or, what's that place? Oh, man. Universal Studios. You ain't got to go there to get scared. You just got to slow down for a minute. Take a deep breath and look at the truth. You remember that movie They Live with Roddy Piper? And he was trying to convince homeboy about the aliens, that the aliens really did exist. And they had to get into that just historic fight in the alleyway. And he's like, look, man, I'm trying to tell you something. There's these people, man. They're aliens here. But the brother didn't. Man, I ain't trying to hear all that mess. You get away from me with them glasses. I don't want to see it. Yeah, because he knew. He knew when Roddy Piper told him that there were aliens trying to take over. He knew. That's why he fought not to put the glasses on. Not because he didn't believe him, but because he believed him. And that's exactly what you all are doing while you running around here trying to distract yourself with all these sports games and this and that. You know the truth, but you don't want to admit it. So you think while you're drinking your beer and sipping your hot dog, it's just going to go away. Well, it's not. But I'm going to go away for a minute for a station break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Hey, it's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are back for the fourth segment of Hump Day, titled, Now That's Really Scary. Hey, check this out. A lot of stuff going on about the Catholic Church lately, got Vice President Biden, and he went to a Catholic church. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Some things that happened to him. Got Kanye West trying to hold church. It's like he's been smitten with the Holy Spirit, what have you. We'll talk about that too. But right now, we're going to talk about a young 8-year-old in Queens, New York. A furious Queens mom says a Catholic school discriminated against her 8-year-old son by telling him he couldn't wear his cornrows. That's right. Told the brother he couldn't wear his braids up inside of a holy private school. The mom said, I was infuriated that now I have to do this because of something like his hair. said Jedediah's mother, LaVonna Batts, who filed a lawsuit on Monday in Queens Superior Court. This is discrimination, she said. Batts thought Immaculate Conception, a pre-K-8 Catholic school, was the answer to her prayers. It was supposed to be a fresh start for Jedediah after 3 years in a low-performing public school. She dropped her $275 registration fee and another $250 to the school's uniforms, a spiffy powder blue button-down and tie-tucked into gray pants khakis. Jedediah started school on September 4th and loved his first day. His teacher made him feel welcome and his classmates embraced him, the mom noted. But the good feeling of good spirit extended only so far. When Jedediah's grandmother arrived to pick him up at the afternoon, the principal told her, "We don't accept this," while rubbing the top of the boy's head. Whoo! You know, that's what they used to do back in the day, rub a brother's head for good luck and whatnot, you know. And the school's hair policy, according to its student handbook, instructs boys that hair must be neat and trim, no longer than the top of the shirt collar, no designs, mohawks, ponytails, braids, buns, and no color. Well, the rules are pretty clear, you know, and it says no braids. So, I'm kind of wondering what's going on with that. But check this out. The city guidelines mandate that because natural hair and locks, cornrows, twists, braids, bantu knots, fades, and afros are most closely associated with who? Black people. No school covered under the New York City human rights law may prohibit such styles in New York City. The state law added to the list of illegal race discriminations traits historically associated with race, including but not limited to hair texture and protective hairstyles. Batts' lawyer, Oliver Capo, a former city council member and acting state attorney general, said the state law does carve out an exception for religious doctrine. But I've never heard of hair being part of the Catholic religion, he said. Batts is suing to recover enrollment and uniform costs, which she says the school hasn't refunded, and for emotional damage. Finding another school for her son mid-year was a nightmarish ordeal, she said, and though he's now happily enrolled at a new public school, she worries about the other black boys who have chose between the hair and a Catholic school education. She says, "You think a Catholic school is about Christ and love. What does a hairdo have to do with that?" Well, she brings up a pretty good question. And, the Catholic Church. What up with that? The Catholic Church. Here I go, doing the Southside Unicorn thing, but I'm going to do it anyway. That Pope. That particular Pope they have right now over there in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is full of poop. Talking about he believe in global warming. How you going to be the head of God's church and you talking about you believe in global warming? God is God all by himself. They got all these different things, this and that and the other thing. And, on one end, you want to believe them because they got all these ceremonies. They got the mitre on top of their head. They got the little incense going on. They got all this opulence, and their music sounds so holy. But then they be doing some weird stuff. Like they preachers or they pastors or their priests or their fathers or I don't know what the proper title is, can't keep their hands off the kids. Every time I turn around, here come another cardinal, blue jay, or whatever, and they're getting sued because they can't keep their hands off the kids. Now, you tell me how scary it's got to be. Here you are, a child, trying to go up in the house of God. People rubbing your head and telling you you can't come in the house because you got braids. Or even worse, they look at you and they like you. Come on in, my child. Ooh, that's some scary stuff. What's going on with this Catholic Church? Are they getting it right? Are they getting it wrong? Are they half right, half wrong, whole wrong? I don't know. You know, case in point. Let's just go down that road. You know, I'm gonna do it. Wow, I can't believe it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Former Vice President Biden. Former Vice President Biden. The man's a liar. He's a thief. He has harmed the people. I said it. And you know what? You want to come sue me, Vice President Biden? Please do. Please do. Prima facie, there's enough evidence there to say that what I'm saying about you and your son Hunter Biden is the truth. Especially when we done cold busted the former ambassador to the Ukraine, and all she was doing was denying Ukrainian officials the right to come to the United States personally. Because see, they didn't want to make no phone calls. They didn't want to get no cyanide tea from a boy, Putin. So they wanted to come meet the president in person to try to explain to him just how bad things really were in the Ukraine. And a former Obama holdover was blocking. She was running defense and making sure they couldn't get over here to talk to the president. So now let's just do this real quick. Mark 14, chapter 18 through 26. And as they were reclining at a table and eating, Jesus said, "Truly I say unto you, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They began to be sorrowful and to say to him one another, "Is it I?" He said to them, "It is one of the 12, one who is dipping bread into the dish with me. For the Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe to the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man if he had not been born." And they were eating and took the bread, and after blessing he broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take, this is my body." Now you got to remember, this is the breaking of the bread. This is the straight up communion. This is communion ground zero. And Jesus said, because of a man that was at the table with him that would betray him, and we all know who it was. He told him, he said, "You're going to break bread with me? You're going to drink the wine, which is my blood? And you're betraying me? You're not even down for me." He said, "Woe unto that man. It would be better that he was not born than to be doing this." And Judas still got down. Luke 22, chapter 19, Luke 22, chapter 19 and 22. "And he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And likewise the cup after they had eaten, saying, This cup that is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood. But behold, the hand of him who betrays me is with me on the table. For the Son of Man goes as it had been determined, but woe to that man by whom he is betrayed." Do you get the idea and the understanding that the communion is a serious thing? These are the words of Jesus Christ. He said, "Don't take communion with me if you're not down for me. If you're still out there kicking up dust, don't you do it." He said it'd be better off that you be dead. Now, I attend a church every now and then called the Rock Church in San Bernardino, California. And I am pleased when a pastor, the founding pastor, who I think is retired now, his name is Pastor Jim Cobrae. He's done communion service, and he has warned people diligently. In fact, I'm going to tell you, there was a time I had to step back from it, y'all. I was scared to touch that wafer. I was scared to touch that little grape juice. Because Pastor Jim Cobrae explained it the same way too. He said, "Hey, hold up. Don't you mess with this. You could sentence yourself to absolute damnation." And when I started getting into the scripture myself a little bit deeper and understanding, now I say that the pastor of the church in South Carolina, the one that denied Vice President Biden the communion, Reverend Robert E. Morey of the St. Anthony's Catholic Church, he did Vice President Biden a good turn. Because, see, Biden is a hypocrite. Biden is a corrupt man. And he would do things to be seen doing those things. And he would stand before the people, being totally okay with young ladies having their feet put up in stirrups, legs parted, and life snatched out from them and murdered, chopped up, and the pieces sold. This man Biden is cool with that. This man Biden is attacking one of God's anointed people, President Donald J. Trump, and he's cool with that. This man works with his child to steal. And instead of teaching his child, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property, to help him be an upright man, he helped him in his criminality. So my hat's off to Reverend Robert E. Morey, even though the Catholic Church is messing with kids because they, wearing braids. Even though the Pope of the church is saying he believes in global warming. This particular pastor, this particular reverend, did it right. He saved you, Biden. Now save yourself and repent. Stop sinning and go your way and sin no more. But not you. You're steady trying to run for president of the United States. You're steady fighting to try to rule over God's people and do all manner of things to them and bring your cohorts, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and all the rest of the cabal who tried to overthrow the United States government. You, Biden, are totally fine with that. And that makes you very scary indeed. We're sitting here watching criminals use our own laws against us to try to harm an innocent man. And we're not doing enough. We're not fighting back enough. Adam Schiff is still in a representative because the majority of our representatives were Democrats. But there's not a majority of integrity inside the representatives. Because if there was enough integrity inside of them, Schiff would not be in office anymore. Which of you would want to cross a bridge that had no integrity? Which of you would get in a plane and they said they doubt the integrity of the wings, that it'll hold the plane up? Integrity matters. And when it's not present, it is incumbent upon us to find people with the proper integrity to sit in the places of leadership. And that we have now become like the Roman Colosseum, no different than the World Series that went down and our president got booed there. We may as well have had lions down in the bottom. We may as well have had a couple Christians to throw down in there to boot. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what's scary. Not Halloween that's coming tomorrow and all the ghosts and ghouls and goblins. You know what's even scarier? Why is it that every time Nancy Pelosi tries to get a consensus on something that is corrupt, she does it on Halloween? Do you understand that on the solstice, on the eve of Halloween, that's when she got the Obamacare bill signed? Now she says she'll be ready to try to sign articles of impeachment on the president on what day? On what? The 31st of October, Halloween. Check me on it. Check her on it. Every time she makes a movement of evil, she does it on Halloween. Why is that? Think about it, people. There's some real scary stuff going on. You ain't got to look far. You only have to look at Washington, D.C. You only have to look in our own hearts about what's going on and what we're allowing, and you'll see some stuff that's real scary. I pray we find the fortitude and the strength over the next coming years to get this thing right. I hope you put that cup of beer down. I hope you put the hot dog down. Get up out them stadiums and come on, stand with your president. Get to a rally. Get to your knees. Let's make this thing right. And this is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show on Hump Day, saying thank you, and I'll see you on Friday.